What's good YouTube? And welcome to the house. Once in a while we get nice things in the house, such as this Blood Blossom playmat. That's right, I called it Blood Blossom because this is an OCG playmat. But this Red Root playmat will be given away on the channel at some point, most likely as our Tournament of Madness for prizing. But what you guys really came here for is this thick stack of cards that is an entire set of Chaos Impact. So I'm going to go over the current pricings and what I think of the cards inside, as well as the potential for the set. So let's go ahead and get into it, starting with Marincess Blue Tang. This is the chase card outside of the Prismatic Secret Rares, and Konami finally officially gave it that term on the database. If you go and look from Rising Rampage and hover the rarities in the database, it says Prismatic Secrets. So outside of the Prismatic Secrets, this is what people are hunting down, but it's at a max of $40, which is a little alarming because when people look at a brand new set, usually there's a chase card worth a box that you can pull by itself, and that's only the Prismatics for right now within this set. I think she'll kind of follow Coral Anemone's price and go down towards $30 to $25 as the set releases and more quantities get out there. And I think Marincess is more stuck at a tier 2 status still. It'll probably top regionals, but I think struggle on the YCS level. But hey, prove me wrong with those play skills if you think that's an unfair assessment. Now, what people were kind of disappointed in was that so many of the Unchained ended up in this high secret rarity. And that's not just one, that's not just two, that's not just three, that's freaking 4 of the 8 secret rare slots went to the Unchained. Now, the main card people are after for is Abomination Prison, which is actually able to add any Unchained card from your deck to your hand, which is really freaking good. You're probably not getting the destroyed card effect unless you're doing it yourself, set card being destroyed to special summon an Unchained monster from deck, but at least you are able to do that yourself. This card, probably the most wanted since it helps you tutor out your entire deck. Now, the prices for these in play sets are pretty high right now, so I expect some of them to go down. Originally they were 20, then they quickly went towards 13 for certain ones. I think it's mixing them with True Draco the most right now in people's testing, which is an odd thing because you have Sky Striker Draco, you have Pure Draco, and now this. Let me know what you think Unchained works best with as an engine or pure deck, and if you think it is the way True Draco will move forward rather than playing Sky Striker or Pure. Next up, we have Starliege Sephiroth, which I think a lot of people are excited about, and I probably somehow murdered the name of. Super Rejuvenation just came off of the Forbidden and Limited list to 3, so this card's a little bit pricey right now, almost towards that $30 price range, and it has 2 really good effects, allowing you to tutor out a dragon and also get one back from the graveyard. It's nice. Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix, I think, is a little underestimated, which might be why Konami made it the Prismatic Secret of the set. I don't have that in hand currently for you guys, but Pyro Phoenix is a pretty good field wipe when you're using its special ability. I don't think that's great against Thunder Dragon, though, which is kind of Solid Boy's problem matchup, but I still think people will be playing this in 2-ofs for other matchups, as well as thanks to the Quick Play Salamangreat spell that you only have to run 1 of, since you can kind of get it to the graveyard, get it back, that kind of stuff. And ironically, the final and 8th secret rare is our first Link 5! It's the cheapest card in the set. I don't think it's ultra playable. Maybe it's underestimated, but you automatically give an arrow up to the opponent. I think because of the Firewall name, it might hover around $5. Yeah, Link 5, $5. But I also think that there's just better Cyvers such as Avermax. So, speaking of Avermax, a card that works amazing with it in the ultra rare slot and also comes in Prismatic Secret Rare is IP Masquerena. I highly underestimated this card because I thought its second effect had to be used with its first effect. So during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after it resolves, Link summon a monster using materials you control, including this card. So you can quick link. So I thought the second protection effect had to use that, but you don't. You can only use this effect once per turn, and a link monster that use this card as a material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So making cards such as Avermax actually more protected, insanely protected, is pretty good. Now, her only restriction is that she can use non-link monsters as her material. She needs 2 non-link monsters, which will make it awkward to go up into her at times, but I think players will find their ways around that. Being able to use tokens is insane, and Konami not only made her prismatic, but made her the regional mat. Currently sitting at $28. I think it might hover 20 to 25 at first, but this is one of the most meta-impacting cards within the set. Speaking of impacting cards, wow, are the Rocket players happy to see Striker Dragon in here. This was actually revealed it would be in Chaos Impact, I believe at Worlds by Jerome. And Striker Dragon is a really good addition, which is why it's sitting around $25. The money seems to be in the ultra rares right now more so than anything. It's really weird how the value is spreading out in the set for pre-sales. But Rocket players, tons of them have the structure deck, so a lot of people will be after this card, so I don't see it falling too fast, but I think it'll settle around $20. Next up, more high rarity Unchained. They take 2 of the ultra rare slots as well. I don't have much to add throughout this other than, man, they're more expensive than they should be. The Tenny get a bit of an update in the set that's actually very exciting. We see a new Link 3 here, we get other pieces, and the deck comes more together. I'm looking forward to this in future sets, but I know people that'll be wanting to pick this up now as well. Speaking of searchable, Nibiru is searchable by Gallet Granite, aka Granite Loyalist. Man, you add 1 rock monster from your deck to your hand by detaching a material, so you can let them know the threat of summoning 5 is there. We then also have another Tenyi Ultra Rare, the Synchro. It's cool that they're branching out into other typings within Tenyi, especially with how easy it is to summon some of them. And then we get some Gladiator Beast support. A lot of people have been asking me what I think about the new Glad Beast support. I think it does a lot for the deck. I think it will be cheap after pre-sales, but I don't think it boosts it anywhere past tier 2. I think you're going to have a hard time with consistency with what they currently have access to, but it's definitely awesome legacy support to the deck. And then a couple of cards. Oh, we have another Gladiator Beast Ultra Rare, actually, that I completely forgot about. High-level ones are always welcome to tag out into for me, and I think they need that power output. And then Bounty. I just love the art of this card. The dog is doing the deals. Now, I'm really glad this actually ended up as a super rare. Oh my gosh. I did not want to see Yada as anything expensive. A lot of people excited to pick this up out of the set. I gotta give Konami props for not rarity bumping this out of range of a lot of people. Next up, we have Primeral Kongre. I just think of King Kong whenever I look at this card. I'm sorry, I don't have real input for him. The Gladiator Beast Fusion, a welcome addition, but I still think Heraklinos, is what you want to end on for having negation. But this is still a really amazing card. We've got a Aromage edition in the super rares here, as well as Marinsa Super Rare, our Link monsters that people will be after. I think it's a really good look that some of these actually ended up in the rarities they are. Galaxy Satellite Dragon. This is the super that ended up in the prismatic rarity. Gorgon Empress of the Evil Eyed. She's a really nice addition to the Evil Eye deck. I'm glad they kept getting main deck, like core support, instead of just being stuck in their side set. And I like that Konami keeps updating them outside of just those side sets lately. It gives a lot of upward potential for side sets, and I'm glad that they're actually decent support, including another equip, which was highly, highly needed. Man, these look really awesome, actually, as super rares. They did a great job with the foiling on these. Next up, Peaceful Burial. I believe this is one of those more so not great cards. Let me actually read this before I say something I regret. Send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard, but for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate cards or effects of cards with the name sent. You can only activate 1 per turn. So it's like, you gotta wait too long. Like, obviously, you could activate Foolish Burial and just send it. You can't play infinite Foolish Burials, but it just feels slow, man. It's not the joke cards like I thought. The Dream Mirrors ended up being really freaking nice in this set. They got solid additions with a 1900 beater, good effects, a fusion that really felt like it brought it all together. You get, I believe, an Omni negate if you have 2 field spells up. You got a set rotation and actually good fusion. It really had a lot come together, and people rushed for the older cards once all this was announced. I really hope they continue to update the Dream Mirrors in future set, because they already announced a pirate theme archetype, and they've dedicated quite a few cards to the Dream Mirrors, but I feel like it's not quite enough. So I hope to continue to see updates for the Dream Mirrors. Oh, also, when this card is activated, you can add a Dream Mirror monster from your deck to your hand. Just any card in the archetype to hand seems pretty freaking good. And here's that trap card I was talking about. Choose a Dream Mirror Joy and Dream Mirror Terror from your hand and or deck, and place one in your field zone and your opponent's. So that is the set rotation that Dream Mirrors got. Here's our choice for Prismatic Secret Rare out of the rares. Unchained Twins Aura. So the Unchained Twins here in the rare slot, luckily, not ending up... It feels odd that they're not at least super rare, right? With everything else that was going on. Where's my hollows? I guess an OTS pack will have to take care of that. A little Marensis Grill. Next up, we've got one of the cards I was a little disappointed in, Monster Express. When I saw the picture, the effect really didn't line up with what I initially thought, but I get where they're coming from in card design. We've got some of our Glad Beast rares here. Definitely welcome additions overall to the archetype. Like I said, I'm pretty happy. Oh, Nebula Dragon. I'm actually really glad will be cheap for people to be able to... is this a Blue Eye support? I'm glad that, stuff like this and the Tenyis end up as easy access cards in this set, though. People who are chasing after cards in this set definitely will be able to pick them up for relatively cheap. And like I said, the Salomon Great spell, I feel like you only need to play one of it because you can recycle it, you can get it out of your graveyard. Really freaking good card. I think it shouldn't be underestimated being able to get multiple same link tag outs with low effort in your turn. And there's always battle tricks with this because it doesn't restrict you in any way from how you're going to act in the battle phase as well. Next up, more Gladiator Beast rare. We got Spiritual Entanglement. I'm going to try to start going through cards faster. I know you've been here for a while. Tyrant Farm. This was I believe, TCG exclusive as well. Gladiator Beast. Charge. Get it to focus a little there. I always like seeing cards I used to use in the pictures. Geyseris, just to date myself back to, 2008. Blessed Winds over here. Wait. Geyseris was LOTD, wasn't he? Jelly Cannon. Next up, we got Brutal Beast Battle. I love seeing Master of Oz out here with all the other beasts. This guy's angry like he's going to take him. Berserk Gorilla making another card art. I know a guy in my Discord that loves Berserk Gorilla. Dream Mirror. Here's our counter trap. So this card is basically, if you have a field spell on each field, is what I call an Omni Negate. Be able to take care of almost any problem. So if they activate a spell and trap while you have Joy, you can negate the activation when your opponent would special summon monster or monsters while a Dream Mirror of Terror is on the field zone. Negate the summon. Notice it says field zone, so that includes your opponent. Overburst Dragon, another welcome thing for Rockets here in the set. Low rarity, able to grab easily unlike Striker Dragon. And then we're just going to kind of quickly go through the commons here. So I'm going to hold them all out for you guys. Let me know if you're actually hunting down any commons from this set. There's plenty of things to be looking forward to. Romage is in relatively low rarity. Nice to see an evil tile kind of randomly in here. If Infinitrax also getting a little bit of support, less noted by the community. DD Patrol Train. But yeah, I think this set overall, I'm just going to kind of talk about the set as a whole. Hey, this is actually a nice welcome low rarity. I think the set as a whole, the reason why people are comparing it a lot to Rising Rampage and even past sets that didn't historically do well like Shadow Specters is that the chase cards already are pretty low priced. The players are going to be able to get what they want out of here, but the reason why the prices are so low is the players don't seem to be hunting a lot out of this set currently. And for me, I think that the Unchained brings a lot to the set, and there's a reason why Konami pushed it so high rarity within the set, and that's because that's where they perceive the value to be. I really think that Unchained stops this from being a Shadow Specters-like set, but it feels a lot like Next Challengers, where there was a bit of value that went away relatively quickly. They had Virgil, they had Disc, and then the value just kind of seeped out, and distributors were stuck with it. I'm already seeing people sell these at cost, basically, on TCG Player, breaking even after shipping under the $60. Whenever you see pre-sales for boxes under $60, you know people are trying to unload, and we're seeing $58 and the $57 range pre-sales for boxes, so I think a lot of people are trying to get rid of their sealed. Oh, this is a hilarious card. I love Boompeline. But Desert Locust is actually a really nice synchro, by the way. I would be keeping this in the common slot. I think what happened with this set overall in the perception of the community is that it didn't really change the metagame up a lot. With the ban list, how it works, and with the metagame where it is, this doesn't bring a lot of change, but I think it does bring exciting cards. I think it does a good job with its imports and exclusives. I like how it turned out overall. But still, I think they could have worked a lot harder on this set in terms of maybe giving us some Link Reigns Pack 3 imports, like the 6 Samurai Link, and before Needle Fiber comments, not here, set doesn't matter comments. I just think that there could have been some more considerations on the imports and the value overall to this set for stores. But let me know what you think of how everything turned out. Let me know if you're happy with how this set has gone, or do you think Dark Neostorm was a really great example of what a good set was, or maybe you're more a fan of Savage Strike where you have a couple of really high-end cards and the rest of the cards are cheap. Let me know what kind of Yu-Gi-Oh set you guys prefer the most in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation and seeing these cards in 1080p. And again, thank you for sticking through this whole video if you made it here 17 minutes.